Hello all and welcome to another episode of Tom's Gaming World. So what's been going on? Well, nothing here, nothing new on the CDI shelf for once, but there is this Xbox Lite which is pretty nice, which sits above these Xbox games. I've had a little bit of move around, put some lights here, with the PlayStation Lite from over there. I've also got a Tetris Lite, which is quite neat, but enough of that. Let's move down here and then, oh, what's this? Oh, it's an Xbox Series S. But more of that next time, I think. But, you know, very good first impressions of that console. Down here, we have some recent retro purchases, reasonably recent. Airblade, made by Criterion, famous for the Burnout series, among others. Speed Kings, was it? There was a... Yes, I think that was a motorcycle game for PS2, Xbox and GameCube, but we're not talking about that, we're talking about Airblade. And Airblade is kind of like futuristic Tony Hawk's on a hoverboard, but with a storyline, and the government's out to get you, you're the resistance, yeah, take it to the man. That's Airblade. Next up, now a game I've long been curious about. I finally found a copy that was, a reasonable price, and thought I'd like to try Graffiti Kingdom. Now what Graffiti Kingdom is I'd say it's an adventure game with some kind of light RPG elements, but it's got a very appealing visual style. Basically you play this little lad on the front here and uses his magical sort of paintbrush device to turn into different creatures in the world. And the creatures in the world that this game takes place in are incredibly inventive. This is actually an Italian copy, but it's all in English. I'm not sure if it was released in the UK or only got released in certain countries, but yeah, I say it plays all in English. And this has great music, great visuals, and really unique gameplay concept. It's very playable, and I urge you to check this one out. Next up is Outlaw Volleyball, and well, it's okay. I got this because I wanted a volleyball game on PS2, because I have one on the Xbox, Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball, and I have Beach Spikers for the GameCube. So it was only the PS2 that was missing one. I thought I'd get the remixed version. I've not played the original, so apparently there's more to it. But when a game It's got a sense of humour, no shirt, no shoes, no mercy, 17 half-naked characters, including Trixie the college co-ed. You know the kind of tone this game's going for, and it's pretty dumb in tone, but as a volleyball game, what's it like? And it's not bad. It looks a bit rough around the edges, but the actual volleyball itself plays pretty well. So yeah, I'm reasonably happy with this. This is an incredibly affordable game. Only pay couple of quid at the most for it.
Well folks, we've got a new server and I'm all tingly, but that's mostly because my butt's asleep. Nice point, but always remember it's not nice to point. The serving team is behind. So start your laughing and finger pointing just about now. Hey, losing a point isn't everything, but in this case it just plain sucks.
And lastly, I'd say, well, Graffiti Kingdom's very good, but this is probably the pick of the bunch for me. Sylvester and Tweety in Katie Capers. And this is sort of platform, I'd say it's platform game with slight puzzle elements occasionally, but it's more action based. You play as Sylvester, and your goal is to catch Tweety. Of course it is. And the way the game plays out is really nice. So Tweety changes position within the levels, and Sylvester can use his binoculars to find Tweety. Then the next task is, how do you get to Tweety in the levels, which aren't necessarily usual side-scrolling left to right. They go in different directions. You might have to travel upwards and do some sort of clever thinking to actually get to Tweety, and that's when the level ends and you move on to the next one. But it captures the character of the animation really well.
Hello, breakfast. Hello, breakfast. Hello, breakfast.
I've not seen many games that are this true to their source material and really manage to capture the essence of what makes Sylvester and Tweety a great cartoon double act. So this was a very pleasant surprise. I expected it to be a sort of average platformer. What I got was an incredibly unique game presented in the best possible way. So do check out Sylvester and Tweety in KG Capers. Lastly, I'm going to talk about a couple of Switch games I've been playing recently. The first of which is Toki, or Toki, not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but it's an arcade style platform action game. It's quite punishing. When I say arcade style, I mean it's a game that feels like it's been designed to eat up money in the arcade. Now, I'm not 100% sure if it was an arcade game or not. I know it has been previously released on the Mega Drive, but this version has beautiful graphics, not too different from something like Rayman Origins or Rayman Legends, or something like Ori and the Blind Forest. I know it's got quite a different graphical style, but I love this kind of approach to remastering games or creating sequels in the case of Rayman Origins, where you're no longer relying on pixelated graphics. There still seem to be a trend of retro throwback video games. I think that's fine. I think there's a place for that as well. But I think it was a great choice for Rayman to go down this route, and I think it was the perfect choice for this game, Toki, because it's just beautiful. And I don't hear it talked about too often, maybe because it's not a new release. I've picked this up much later in a sale. But it's a punishing but fair feeling game that you can play on an easier difficulty level, which is what I've been doing, and I get quite a bit of enjoyment out of it. It made me want to revisit other similar games, so I do recommend Toki. It may be hard, but it is fair, and it's just a beautiful looking game. Next up, a game not so dissimilar. It's a remake of the original Wonder Boy. It's called Wonder Boy Returns Remix, and it's essentially the genesis of the endless runner type game genre. You have to keep up that momentum, you have to keep eating that food with your health constantly going down. Wonder Boy's a little chap who needs to be constantly eating, otherwise he's going to keel over. So make sure you collect the fruit, but avoid the enemies, because one hit kills, unless you've got a power-up, for example the skateboard. But there's also a second character. So the second character, I forget her name. The Wonder Boy is called Tom Tom in this game, and I forget the name of the female character, but you'll see her in this footage. She's got a boomerang as opposed to a club, and she's also got a scooter as opposed to the skateboard. And it's cool that there's, you know, another character to play as in the game. It's quite hard, but again, this game was made for the arcades originally. I've played Wonder Boy in the arcade, and it's still a really good arcade game, I think. And it's got lots of home conversions, for example. Well, I say lots of. I know there's a Master System home conversion of it, but you'll be most familiar with the game probably if you're a Nintendo owner or you follow Nintendo games in the Adventure Island series. Also appear on PC Engine as well. So it comes in two different guises. Obviously you've got Wonder Boy and then Adventure Island. But I was playing Wonder Boy Returns Remix, and again it's got that beautiful cartoon-esque vector graphics that just look really good, and we can do this now in video games. And some people criticise, I think, this style of game for looking like a Flash game or something like that, but I think it still looks really nice, and I'd love to see more like this. I'd love to see the new Sonic game, for example, have some sort of vector cartoon style graphics. Unlike Sonic Mania, which was great, but if they're going to do that sort of thing again, wouldn't it be nice to see something done in that cartoon vector style graphics, like the visuals for Wonder Boy or Toki. Yeah, but Wonder Boy's a heck of a lot of fun. It's a challenge, but it keeps you playing. I love the momentum that you feel when you get the character going, and if you keep that momentum up, then you can do bigger jumps and get past the obstacles, and there's bosses at the end of each level. It's a solid, enjoyable, and relatively inexpensive game. Again, I got this in a sale, so I'm not sure of its regular price, but if you catch it in a sale for a good price, I think it's a great pick up and play arcade style platform game. It's really good. And that brings me to the end of this episode. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you maybe found some games you weren't familiar with and might, because of this video, decide to check them out, because I think pretty much everything I've talked about in this episode is well worth playing. So thanks again, and until next time, it's goodbye and game on.